going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I did want to take the first half of today's show and remember Kyhree Jackson, as we received unfortunate news this weekend that he passed away in a car accident at the very young age of 24 years old. So the whole first half of today's video, wanted to go over how he got to the spot where he was in his career and just remember who he was, not only on the football field, but more importantly, who he was as a person. Then also later on today's show, I do want to talk about a couple key, news and rumors, nuggets that came out over the weekend about Justin Jefferson being a leader. And then I did see a sweet interview of Blake Cashman talking about rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy. But, we should start off today's show, talking about Kyhree Jackson. And I just want to go over three things that I noticed, about him. And, the number one thing about him and why it's so heartbreaking for me and many of us Vikings fans is, he overcame adversity. This wasn't a player who got drafted who was a 5-star coming out of high school, went to Alabama, played 3 years, and then he was a first-round pick. He had to go through the whole 9, and we'll discuss that here in a little bit. But, something I loved, and this was a quote from Kyhree himself, talking about the moment he got drafted as he was actually working at a grocery store. And, this was the quote from him. He said, "I thought my name was going to get called a little later in the day. I didn't know it was going to be 4th or 5th round. I was in the store, and I missed the first call, and then my phone rang again. I picked up, and it was the Vikings." And he also carried on to say, "I told the lady in the store, well, I got to go. And I ran out of the store and called my parents. I think they were on pick 105 or 106 at the time. I called my mom and told her, you might want to turn on the TV. I just hurried up and hung up the phone, and then I called my dad. He was right next to her, though. I don't know why. I should have just told them both at the same time, but then I called my dad, told him the same thing. It was crazy. I ended up coming back to the house. All my family was here." And, he had a crazy experience getting to where he was to get him to the spot where he was a 4th-round pick out of Oregon. He started off at community college. He wanted to be close to the family. He bounced around a couple of, different universities, went to Alabama. Then his senior season, he did transfer to Oregon, where he was great, going head-to-head against, some of the stud Washington wide receivers, and, he performed very, very well. And, after all the tributes I've heard around him and all the former players who played with him talking about him, he seemed like he just brought a bolt of energy to every single room he walked in. He had this very, contagious smile, and, I was just very, I was heartbroken. And, I'm going to probably struggle to get through the rest of this video, as it is truly one of the saddest things, I have seen covering a sports team in my life. But also this about Kyhree Jackson's career, they called him Chef Ski, and he actually had a spot on his Instagram page where you can post like Instagram stories, and it's a little highlight part where he would post all of his, cooking videos, all of the meals he made, and, obviously, crab cakes are a big thing in Maryland, and, he was showing off his crab cake, making ability over and over again on his Instagram, and they called him Chef Ski, and I thought that was a cool note. And then also this, it was pretty cool. It was him and Dallas Turner. It was after Kyhree got drafted, and he was just saying how him and Dallas Turner need to go head-to-head in terms of pregame tunnel fits, and, he was really looking, forward to that. But, after I heard, this news about Kyhree, and, there's really all, one message that I want to get out there, and I was blessed enough to have this platform here at Chat Sports, and to say this to all of you guys. And, all I ask is you guys tell your family, you guys tell your friends that you love them, because life is a crazy thing, and it could take it away from anybody at any given time. I mean, Kyhree was just hanging out with 2 of his former teammates, in high school, and then in a blink of an eye, his life ended, and it was absolutely devastating. And, it's not totally confirmed yet, but apparently there was alcohol involved with other driver. All I have to say is just get an Uber. You guys have heard this 1,000 times from whether it's your parents, family members, or different types of friends. Just, call a freaking Uber, because you never know. Like, even though you could drive drunk 1,000 times and nothing could happen, but it only takes one time. It only takes one moment. So, I'm still heartbroken over this Kyhree Jackson stuff, and it's just tough, making videos, right now talking about the Minnesota Vikings, because none of this really matters. Like, none of what I do matters at all. These are, real humans living out their lives, and it is just very sad and, very frustrating that a young man's life was taken, way too quickly from him. And, I just hope all of you guys today just watching this, all I ask, just call your dad, call your mom, call your older brother, younger sister, whatever it may be. Just call them, tell them you love them, and just trust me, it will make you feel a lot better. And, just call an Uber or a Lyft. But let's dive into, some real news and, rumors we have around the Vikings. Justin Jefferson, is he now the for sure leader of the football team? Well, Jefferson, after he signed that contract extension, had his press conference, and he had a pretty cool quote about being the leader of the Minnesota Vikings. He says, "Now being a leader of this team, I'm going to start carrying myself a different way. I'm going to be hard on everyone. Make sure we are working towards where we want to go, which is a world championship." And this is needed. Like, the Vikings are going to need Jefferson to step up in a leadership role because there really isn't any other, clear-cut leaders on this team. Like, you have the veterans like a Harrison Smith, but he's not the most vocal guy in the locker room. And I think once Kirk Cousins left, it automatically became Justin Jefferson's team. Like, once that free agent signing came, on our phones, I immediately thought, like, 18, this is his team. He's going to be one calling the shots. He's going to be the face of the franchise, for the foreseeable future. And obviously, once you extended him, it gave even more ammunition, to that case. But I'll ask you guys this. We've never really seen a wide receiver drive the ship to a Super Bowl, but I'll let you guys chime in. Will Justin Jefferson win a Super Bowl? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down in the comments section. Now, J.J. McCarthy, rookie quarterback for the Vikings, he was getting a ton of love from his teammate Blake Cashman and also Adam Thielen. So Cashman was doing an interview this past weekend just talking about J.J. McCarthy and talking about his process, going from the Houston Texans and returning home to play for his Minnesota Vikings. And he had this to say around J.J. McCarthy. He said, "He's 21 years old, but a great young man. He's a leader. He's eager to learn. A lot of young guys, sometimes they can come in, be a little timid or shy, but he's walking around the locker room, big smile on his face, shaking hands, getting to know everybody." And I just think that's great because, listen, I haven't heard one bad thing about JJ. Like, from what everybody said about, just the way he handles himself on and off the field, he's super eager to learn. He's like a sponge with information, and he just wants to see the best version of himself. So, that's just even more ammunition on why I do believe, JJ is going to be a very successful quarterback in the NFL. It's not just on the field. It's how you carry yourself off the field. The quarterback position, it's a lot to do with being a leader and just being a guy that other guys in that locker room, want to go out there and play for. And, Cashman carried on his thoughts saying, "I didn't know much about his game before. I knew he was an outstanding quarterback. Winning followed him at Michigan, but I didn't realize how much heat he can put on the ball. He's got a great long ball. And even those tight windows where it closes fast at the next level, he can zip the ball past the linebacker safety's head and squeeze it in those tight windows." That's very promising to see. And, I'm super excited to watch JJ playing. I cannot wait for the first preseason game to see number 9 out there on the football field taking on those Las Vegas Raiders. But, more likely than not, we're not going to see him until next season. So just be patient. I know there's going to be, a ton of clips out there about, him slinging the ball at training camp. We're all going to want to see him on the football field. Just be patient. His time will come. But let's talk about what Adam Thielen said. This was following their viral workout video that broke about a week ago now, but he said he's got all the tools, that's for sure. He can sling it. He's super accurate. We're wearing shorts and T-shirts out there, but you can still see a lot just from accuracy, timing, and those kinds of things when you're running routes on air. He's a great kid. You don't realize that he's 21 years old when you're talking to him and when you're hanging around him. He's got a maturity about him that you can tell goes beyond his age, and that's step number 1 as a quarterback, right? To have that maturity level, have that kind of poise or kind of aura around you that just feels confident. And he's just a good person. So I've really enjoyed being around him for the little time that I've been able to be around him. And now, Adam Thielen, it'll be awesome if you could come home, play for the Minnesota Vikings. I think it'll be sweet. Maybe you give up a future 6th or 7th round pick and you bring number 19 home. I think it'd be a great spot for that wide receiver 3 position. And just, sure, Thielen, if he wants to go play anywhere besides Carolina, I am 100% sure that is the Minnesota Vikings. But would you guys trade for Adam Thielen? Give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass down in the comments section. Curious to see what you guys have to say. But I do just want to say thank you for, everybody tuning in on today's show. I didn't want to make a video around Kyhree Jackson originally when the news broke. I just wanted to do it out of respect. Just, let everybody clear their air, spend more time with their family. I just didn't really, feel a need for me personally to chime in. But, it was just absolutely devastating news for our Minnesota Vikings. And, I'm still heartbroken about it because this was a guy, for selfish reasons, I was excited to watch him play. He played with a sense of swagger. I just thought he was going to turn out to be a hell of an NFL player. And just, everything he's been through in his life, I just thought that was going to be, more ammunition to help him kind of, get to that next level. And it is just still just heartbreaking for me. I just had a tough time even coming up with, what I wanted to talk about today that's, not him. So, again, guys, tell your family, tell your friends you love them, call an Uber, call a Lyft. I promise you, even if it's just a sip of alcohol, it's not worth it to take that risk because you never know, what the outcome could be. And, again, like I said, you could do it 1,000 times and not get caught, but it only takes that one time. So, again, guys, just please be careful out there. Call your friends, call your family, tell them you love them. Because you never know. Life moves fast, and it can all, come to a stop at the blink of an eye. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will say just seeing the Vikings community on Twitter kind of rally around this has been very cool. And just thank you guys so much for watching today's show. But we'll see you guys next time. As always, let's go Vikes.